Did you know that in 2021 in England and Wales, 2 homeless people died every single day? A quote I like to go by, which I actually made up a few weeks ago about homelessness, is why clean the streets if you live in a different city? And I think it's quite a powerful quote because, you know, in other words, why would you care to change things if it's not concerning you? And I feel like that's the attitude that a lot of people have in the government, I think, for instance, because something like homelessness is a massive issue, but it's not directly affecting them, and so they won't do anything about it. And this has been happening for years because obviously we've not seen a change, like a proper new system that's been developed that's, you know, actually helped decrease homelessness. Something we need to do, I think, is first of all just be realistic. When we want to obviously change things, but we got to, you know, realise it's going to take many years to even, you know, to make a proper dent or even get progress from this, because of how big the issue is. And I mean, that says something in itself, doesn't it? Like, if you know that it's going to take years to actually change, and to, you know, get on the way to solving homelessness, that shows you how big of an issue it is. Yeah, I think it's not going to change for a while, but the best we can do is be realistic and, you know, try and think of solutions and ways we can at least try and tackle it, whilst also staying, you know, level-headed and knowing that it's not all going to be solved overnight. Did you know that in 2021 in England and Wales, 2 homeless people died every single day? Now I think that number's very interesting because that was, 4 years ago. So it'll be very interesting to see more recent reports, because yeah, I'm not sure, I don't think the situation has got any better, especially in the UK, and you know, what to think about like the number in other countries that are worse off. Something that I find very interesting to compare is the difference in approaches to homelessness in England and compared to Japan, because I've been in Japan for nearly 9 months now, and I'd say, sure, there's certainly like a huge difference between the numbers in the UK and Japan of homeless people, but with Japan it seems to be that there's hardly any support for them, to the point where even homeless people themselves don't want support, and will sometimes even reject money because they feel like, as they've got themselves into the position, they don't deserve anything. They should get them out of that themselves out of that position, which is very tough because, you know, it's self-sabotage in a way, and also there's no sympathy from the public or the government for them, because the government believes that they're doing the right thing, and there's a lot of anti-homeless architecture, especially in parks and things, which some people have said is sort of fair enough because children are playing in parks, so you don't want homeless people sleeping in them. But then equally, that's like, you know, that's like isolating them and like excluding them as if they're something alien, when, you know, they're just people who are just very unfortunate and haven't got a place to stay. Also, an interesting comparison is the difference between food banks and the availability of support in, you know, in streets, cities, etc. With Japan, the only place I heard there being a food bank or shelter was when I was in Tokyo, and in one of the big parks in the churches on some Sundays, I think, something like that. They come on. This dog is not wanting to move. Yeah, in some churches I think they give, it's either monthly or weekly, they give out 1,000 yen and a few basic like food supplies, which is obviously pretty good, but I haven't heard that too much more. Whereas England is by no means perfect, but there are food banks set up across the country, and in different cities where you're able to rely on them for you know, free food. So that is something, I guess. Now, of course, I'm not saying this to try and, you know, bash Japan or say, oh, like, you know, I'm a British guy, like I hate Japan now because it's, you know, its approach to homelessness. No, of course not. I wouldn't ever try and, you know, instill negativity upon a country like that. It's just things that I've noticed. Another thing being that, come on. Oh, never mind. And he's off again. Ooh. Gentle lad. Gentle. No, got it. Gentle. It's all right. So, for example, one difference in the approach of homelessness between England and Japan, I'd say, is the fact that in England there's a load of people on the streets. You can walk around and, you know, every turn you take, at some point in the street there's probably something that looks like a place where a homeless person has been, or, you know, like maybe there's cardboard or they're actually sleeping there. But with Japan there's hardly any of that. They have blue tarp, that's what we see on like riversides, or sometimes, I'm not even sure if it's any streets. I think it's mainly just riversides that I've seen it, like in Tokyo, in Asakusa. On the Sumida River there's lots of these makeshift houses made out of like the blue tarp. So they're allowed to do that, which is at least something. But with homeless people in the UK and, well, in England, it's more so like they can just sort of sleep on the streets, whereas Japan doesn't seem to really let that happen. Just not something I've noticed, and of course please correct me if I'm completely wrong here. I don't mean to obviously, you know, spread negativity on Japan, but yeah, it's just some things I've noticed, how they handle it differently. And my friend said she actually saw a homeless man being like dragged into a police car and taken away. And I'm pretty sure he hadn't done anything wrong. It was just he was homeless, and they didn't allow that. We see it sometimes in where is it? In Shibuya, on the big station. Sometimes there's homeless people there, and I guess maybe they're allowed, or maybe they eventually get moved. But yeah, it's an interesting comparison there. How cute he is. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, now walking through the woods, and I think that's where I'll leave it for today. Got a few more dogs to walk, but yeah, I think it's just something to think about, because at this point the best thing I can do is, you know, try and spread awareness about the issue of homelessness. And through my videos I'll start to go, you know, into more detail around the world, and let me know if you like this whole idea of sort of comparing it, and maybe compare country to country with reasons why maybe they don't have as many homeless people, why they're able to do that, and, you know, the positives and negatives of each. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and bit of a different video, but I think that ultimately this is what I want to, you know, stick with, because that's my whole purpose and goal for this channel. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you probably tomorrow or the next day for another video. Goodbye.